Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central today with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. Well, we've been working hard over here. I hope you've been doing the same. Hope you've been getting a lot accomplished as well. So let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, you know what we need you to do. Give us a like if you're watching on Facebook, a thumbs up if you're watching on the tube, and then go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel. Do those three things, and we will be better than in the pink. We'll be in the black, and that's a fact. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's do this little dance. Our proverb from here on out, we're going to be focused more on our poems than our proverbs. We'll still keep trying to bring new proverbs every day, like we've been doing for over a year and a half. But we're also going to be reading from this little tome right here, Shushu Moko Jumbi. And now, what does all that mean? And why is it in this funny language? Well, in the book that we've been reading, The Fences Between by Norma Marceret, one of the things that she says that I would have to disagree with is that black folks are in America, and our minds, our history, our culture was wiped clean like a slate. And we just became tabula rasa. We became like zombies. And those zombies have been known as Negroes. That was the name that was given to these zombies, these blank slates, these people that had no past, that had no history, that you could just mold and shape into anything you wanted, like a group of servile individuals that are only good for cleaning and scrubbing and mopping and washing your dirty drawers. Yes, that's exactly what the theory was. Is it true? Is the question. No, it has not been true. And Shushu Moko Jumbi speaks to that, because Shushu Moko Jumbi was the first recording of student works that were done by black students at Kent State University back in the early 70s. This is a vintage 1974. The title, Shushu Moko Jumbi, relates back to the Moko Jumbis of Africa and the Caribbean. All over the Caribbean, we have festivals, and part of those festivals, that carnival, are the Shushu Moko Jumbi, or these really tall masked dancers. They do not sing, but they do dance. Okay, and they're stilt dancers, so they're really, really tall, and that's hearkening back to the time when the people used to be much, much taller, where Wilt the Stilt looked like a child. Oh, yeah, they're stilt dancers. What can I say? I guess that was kind of an oxymoron, that Wilt to Stilt. But at any rate, and so that's where the title of the book comes from. The book was edited by two individuals. Number one being Ginger Vereen Davis, and the other person that excuse me. I think it was not. No, there was another name in there. I think her first name was actually Vereen, but her nickname was Ginger. Let me correct that. Okay, I don't want to diss Ginger, because I knew Ginger myself. But at any rate, it was edited by Ginger Davis, who was a member of the staff of the Institute for African American Affairs, and it was also edited by Althea Romeo, who a lot of people apparently have forgotten about. But I didn't forget about her, and as a matter of fact, I was able to visit her and her husband over in Switzerland a couple of years ago. So she's still around, and she edited this book of poetry. And the very first poem that we're going to read today from the book is called Shushu Moko Jumbi, a poet's poem. I am the silent spirit, silent, dancing spirit. You do not hear or see me move. You know that I am the world which possesses your eyes. Shushu Moko Jumbi. And we'll be incorporating images of the Moko Jumbis from the Caribbean and some from the United States for you to see in our upcoming slideshows. So look for images of the stilt dancers. These are not stilt walkers like you saw with Barnum and Bailey at the circus. These are actually stilt dancers. So they dance. They will dance. They will twirl. They will get down on the floor and get back up with unaided. I've seen it in person myself. Shushu Moko Jumbi. So much for our poetry for the day. And again, the poems in that book, that first one was written by Althea Romeo, but there are plenty of poems in that book that are written by the students. Ibrahim Naim, Huldah Smith, and others wrote poems in that particular book that were edited and put into that book. So an important work that you cannot find on the internet. It is ungoogleable. So you can Google it all you want, but you're not going to find Shushu Moko Jumbi. You will find books on the Moko Jumbis, but not this particular one. So we have it here at the Crosby Archives, and we're willing to share if you're willing to care. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and continue on with the story of Norma Marceray, or Norma Snipes as she was known at the time, who first came to Kent in 1928. She had gone to the Kent State Extension in Canton that was held at the Board of Education, and now she was on the main campus, and she's just been denied a room at the inn. And if that sounds familiar to you, it should. She's just been denied a room at the inn. She had the money, gave the woman the money, and was given the money back. The money was returned because she was black. And that's all it took. So no dorm room for her. She had to go stay on the colored side of town. The taxi driver tossed my suitcase in the back seat of his conveyance. I held on to my purse with the dormitory deposit after extracting 50 cents for taxi fare. The textbooks that tumbled beside me on the seat were the only assurance that I was a bona fide college student. Later that week, I would look at my hygiene of the child, elementary school music, history of lower and middle grades, industrial arts and English grammar books, and wonder if I should not take them back, receive the full purchase price, and just go ahead and return home. The mile or so ride down narrow, snow-covered streets exacted no inquiring remarks from either the driver or me. The 4 and 5 room, 2-storied wooden frame houses in each block were typical of small town neighborhoods. I was reminded of Norwalk, Ohio, where I had lived as a small child. But the moments in Dean Verder's office pushed aside any nostalgic memories of peace and beauty. What I had been introduced to in the dean's office was a form of slavery. No voice, no choice, no access. Like an annoying traffic signal that catches a pedestrian halfway between the curb and the center lane, I was stopped dead in my tracks with the signal lights flashing. You can't. We won't let you. The pedestrian has to decide whether to go back to the curb stand in the center safety lane, or chance rushing to the other side. Slowly, a tingling, irritating sensation enveloped me as by one all as enveloped me as one by one all of the hushed conversations at home of racial injustice came to mind. Was I entering? Was I entering? She asked this as a question. Was I entering a hostile, separatist world whose racial tenets had birthed the NAACP and the KKK? This organization's main function was to seek, by education, persuasion, and legal decisions, justice and equality under the law. Topping the list of you can'ts, most of which I had only heard about, would be today's experience. You can't stay at Kent State College dormitory. How soon would I personally come face to face with other cants that my parents, my Uncle Eugene, the Methodist preacher, and the young Negro doctor had talked about from firsthand experience? A list of you can'ts flooded my brain. There were can'ts that shouted exclusion from theaters, hotels, restaurants, YWCAs, country clubs, neighborhoods, amusement parks, Pullman trains, hospitals, and churches. The you can't was like telling an individual he was less than a first-class human being, incapable and unworthy of going places and doing things because of a potential inadequacy. The "we won't let you" attitude suggested a near forcible restraint, minus the seemingly polite rationalization of a Dean Verter. The law or any authority figure could prevent the victim's entry. We won't let you in this restaurant, swimming pool, or dance hall. We won't let Negro children enroll in the dancing classes or participate in dramatics. We won't cut your hair in our barber shops. We won't loan you money from the bank. We won't hire you for skilled or professional jobs, no matter what kind of grades you got in school or how much experience you have as an intern. Here you are, lady, the cab driver announced, breaking into my litany of can'ts and won'ts. I'll knock on the door and see if anyone is home. From the snow on the walk, it doesn't look like anyone's been in or out of the house today. He knocked loudly. Yes, there's someone here. I'll bring your suitcase. This is going to be a long walk to the college, young lady. Thanks, I said politely. He pocketed his fare and drove off. The couple who greeted me at the door would have made a perfect picture for Norman Rockwell's Saturday Evening Post magazine cover. This young artist on his way to acclaim might have caught the physical characteristics and the initial Southern congeniality of Mr. and Mrs. Jones, but no artist or psychologist could have portrayed or analyzed the perplexity and the feelings I had of being suddenly propelled into an alien, non-academic, culturally different, colored world. Let me say that one more time. No artist or psychologist could have portrayed or analyzed the perplexity and the feelings I had of being suddenly propelled into an alien, non-academic, culturally different, colored world. Now, we're going to end our reading right there today, because that's the end of the first chapter, and it's a nice place to break. But we're also going to end there because right in here, she's giving rise to, or she's giving voice to a lot of her feelings about what she first experienced here at Kent. That when my father came to Kent, some 20 to 30 years later, he also experienced these same anomalous types of restrictions on where you could go and what you could do. According to Dr. Crosby, it was a daily chore trying to find food on campus. There was food when he got back to where he was staying on the south end, but on campus, it was a whole different story. It was a chore every day trying to find food to eat in the town off campus in Kent, because black people were not allowed in any of the restaurants in Kent. Still in the 1950s, after the 1954 Board of Education decision on segregation, we still were suffering from these kind of things. We still couldn't stay on campus. We still had to stay on the south end. We still had to stay in the colored section of town. And yes, at that time, colored did not mean Indian, Native American, Chinese, Japanese, Hispanic, or anything else. It only meant one thing: nigga, straight up. That's what people of color means. It meant that then, and it basically means that today. They just thrown a bunch of other people in the nigger pot and call them people of color. So I totally, absolutely, fervently reject the term people of color. So if you want to talk about me and my people, you need to talk about something other than people of color, because if you're going to talk about people of color, you're going to have to explain to me what color we talking about. Give it a definition. Okay, give it, I'm saying, let's define these people of color. Because as far as I know, in my crayon box, white is still a color. Yeah, it's the same color as the paper, but sometimes you use it for shading. Sometimes you use it, you can lighten something up, adding some white to it. You can turn red pink if you add a little white. So as far as I know, white is still a color. And therefore, everybody is a person of color. So until we can deal with that whole oxymoron, don't call me no people of color. I am not a person of color. I'm black. And that's it. That's the only thing I'm claiming. I'm just claiming straight up down home, black. Yes, my skin color is light brown because we've been mixed with everything under the sun. And that's okay. I don't mind that. But in general, we are black people. Now let's get this together, people, because all this people of color stuff, that stuff is for the birds. That's some 1920s Negro, bass-ackwards, grandpa stuff that I thought we left behind a long time ago. But apparently we haven't. We still dealing with it. So hopefully in the future, maybe our children won't have to deal with it like we will, but that's not looking very hopeful right now. So enough of that. That's my conclusion for this little segment right here. And Norma Marceray really does bring it out in this book. It's a really great book. It's been sitting on the shelf. I've been looking at this book in my room for almost 20 years and never thought to pick it up and actually read the book. But as I'm reading it, I'm seeing that she packed a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of the things that she put in this book are still quite relevant. So we're going to pick up from there tomorrow, reading chapter 2. And of course, tonight we'll be back here reading more scary stories. What story will we read tonight? I don't know. We shall see. Maybe another Jackie Torrance story. Maybe not. Maybe we'll read about a Sukian. For those of you who know what a Sukian is. But, all in all, it's the beginning of the month. And you know what it's time to do? It's time to go ahead and pony up. Pony up. Today's only what? The 5th? The 5th of, the 6th. The 6th of October. So you got a few more days left in the first week in October to go ahead, pony up, ante up, show your support for Black Facts educational research in a very real way by making a donation today to Black Facts Educational Research Incorporated. That's BLAKFACTS. BLAKFACTS. You can do it at our website, which is .org. You can do it on our Facebook page. You can do it right here on YouTube. Right below the description, you'll find a link to the website and the donation page. In the meanwhile, we hope you go through the rest of your day with a great big smile, because you know something other people don't know if you've been listening and paying attention. Peace out without a doubt, with justice, of course, because anything less ain't even a horse of a different color. It's just straight disgusting. Peace without justice disgusts us. Until tonight, 9 o'clock, this is Doc Ock signing out.